Hey gang, East Coast Lumberjack here. Beautiful day in New Brunswick, and today I've got a beautiful sample of a log here, thanks of Kent Allen. He brought it up on the trailer. So now I can show you from start to finish how to assess a log, okay? So this is selection of a log, and then your 3-foot blocks for making axe handles. Okay, this should be a very informative video. I'm going to go over everything I can here for you to look at a log. So, when we look down this log, there's a few things we can... Now again, the biggest thing is when you look down the bark, right here, you can see that these diamonds, or what I call diamonds, so it's, you know, they come to a point here, okay? The bark comes to a point. And if you look down this log, you can see that those grooves are in pretty much a straight line down there. So when you go in the woods and you're looking at your tree, you want to look up it and make sure you can tell if there's twist in the wood, because they'll curl around the outside of the tree. These ones here, you can see they go pretty much straight up and down. So it's a nice straight log. So that's the good news. Okay, that's the good news. Now there's a few things we can see. When you look down the log, you can see some flare here at the butt, okay? And if you look from this side, okay, so right about here, you can see there's a bend in the log, okay? So when it was growing, it grew up and bent over a little bit, okay? And you can see that right here, that little sweep right here in the end of the log, okay? So that tells me that when I split that handle wood out, I'm going to do a few of them for you so you can see it. There's going to be a sweep in that wood. So it won't be good for top quality handles like I make with my grain going perfectly straight, but if you're making offset handles or crooked handles, whatever you want to call them, that's where you're going to get your wood right there, okay, from the butt of that log. So that's good stuff, okay? And so what you can do, we're going to measure this out here in a second. I'm going to show you how I'd cut this all up. Now there's actually something else I want to show you in this log. If you look at the grain here, okay, you see the grain here. See how that's wavy? And it's got little fleckings in it? I'm pretty sure this is called... this is curly ash, so it's going to make some phenomenal handles. And if it is curly ash, these babies are going to sell for a little bit more than your typical axe handle, because it's going to be gorgeous wood. But I'll know here in a bit when I split it out. So when we look up the log here, we can see there's a few other things happening down there at the end of the log. Okay, you can see a bump here, right down there at the end. So when we look down here, we can see, and I'll try to set you here so you can actually see what's going on. Okay. Okay, good. So, where's my PV? Right here. So we've got a few other things happening. Okay, this here is obvious. Okay, you can see there's a hole here, there's a knot here. And you can see as the bark comes up, you can see it squeezes in right here. See the diamonds? They squeeze in a little bit. Okay, so that will show you, as that keeps growing out over that knot, you're going to see that little curl, that little sweep in those diamonds on the side of the log. So even though that knot's going to be covered over here in a few years, you can still tell in the bark. Remember, the bark doesn't lie. Whatever you see happening in the bark on the outside, you're going to see it happening on the inside in the wood. And we're going to do that here in just a bit. So I've got a knot here. I've also got a knot right here. We can see it quite clearly. And I've got a big knot here. Okay, that's a very obvious one. So, what we're going to do now is roll the log over a little bit. Okay? And see what else we see. Okay. Okay, now, a couple... some really good examples of bad examples. Okay? So, right here. When we look at this wood right here. Okay, actually, I'll get my shadow. So, okay, see right here? Right there in that wood. So the diamonds are coming up, and you can see that they're sweeping out around it right here. You can see those diamonds moving right there. They move out around it, and you can see there's a gnarl. So it's not a diamond, it's actually a gnarl in the wood. So if we look up here a little bit farther, okay, do you see anything else happening right here? Okay, see that right there? See, it's not nice diamond wood like it is here. It's actually growing out around it, and there's a little gnarl in the wood. Okay, so I'm going to split this out for you, this one here, because I can show you what's underneath this. Okay, you typically want this. You want the Diamonds going up nice and straight, nothing there in the way of it. And you know that that's going to be beautiful straight wood underneath, okay? So, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how I mark this out. Okay, so I'm going to set you up again here in the end. I gotta spin you around here just a little bit. I know this is a pain in the butt when you're watching. There we go. Okay, so we know from looking down the rest of the log, now that it's rolled over, same thing, nice straight diamonds the whole way down here, okay? Other than the end, and you can see that sweep in the log pretty obvious here where it drops off in the tail end down there at the butt. Okay, so now that we've looked at this almost all sides, we've got something happening here. Okay, I'll draw that in yellow. Okay, so that when we split it out here in a second, you can see it. So I'm going to circle this in yellow because we know there's something going on here. The bark's not perfect here, and there's something going on here. Okay, the bark's not perfect here, and it's going in a bit of a circle. So in my mind, there's a knot underneath there, and the bark is now healed over that and growing out, but that still stays in the bark. So I know I've got a really obvious knot here, a really obvious knot here, and there's another little knot right about here. Okay, so where this one here is. So what we know, so I'm going to look at this. I know the log is roughly 12 to 13 feet long. So there is still some handlewood here, even though there's a knot here and a knot here. There's two knots there. If I get between this big knot and this big knot, I can get a 3-foot block, and I may get a few handled pieces out of the other side. So 3 foot is what we're looking for. So the other big knot is right here, so I'm actually going to cut that off right here, okay? That's where I'm going to cut off my log. So that leaves me 21 inch. How much is this here? 3 foot. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a 16-inch piece of wood out of here because that's what my furnace takes. So that's my first cut. My second cut, I'm going to go 3 feet from here. That takes me right to this knot. Okay, now I'm just high of that knot. Okay, so I don't want that in my block if I can help it. How much wood do I have left here? I've got a multiple of 3. Okay, 12 foot to the butt right from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this knot out of here. Oh, well, I could. Yeah, I'll do that, just so you can see it, okay? So I'll cut that knot out right here. Then I'm going to do another 3-foot piece, because I know there's nothing here at all. So I got a 3-foot piece here, another 3-foot piece here, another 3-foot piece here, and then this last one. Okay, so we have 48 inches to the very end. So I want to show you this. I'll bring it down because you probably can't hear me anymore. So if we look here at this log, I have more camera problems than I have anything. There we go. Okay. So if we look here, what you can see is how this log swoops down here, okay? So our log drops away. Now if I measure this, from my last line right here, I have 48 inches to the very end. So there's a couple things I can do. I can either cut this off here at 36 inches, and what that does, that takes away my butt flare. So then all these pieces here are all going to be nice and straight, so they're good for handles, for straight handles. But if I come down here to the end, leave that other almost 12 inches on there, I then have an option, because my handle is going to be straight till I get that last foot, and then it's going to curl. So if I cut this off 48 inches long, I can either make a straight handle out of those bolts when I get them split out, or I can cut them a straight handle by cutting them short, or I can leave it long, go from the other end, and get my sweep for my crooked handles. Okay, so you got to think about that as you're processing your log. So this is a time to do what you want to do to make sure you get nice straight handle wood, or you've got something to play with if you want to make some different kind of handles. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to put on my muffs and fire up my saw, and I'm going to cut this log off every place I've done it, and then we're going to stand it up and split it out. Okay, so just going to take me a second here to do that. Just hang on. All right, there we go. So, as you can see, it didn't take too long. Oh, it's so floppy in here. I'm wrong on my holder here. Try to firm me up a little more. There we go. No, it's still floppy. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So, as you can see now, we've got, this is just firewood now, okay, and you can tell this piece here, it's got a big knot in it right here, okay, so that's no good. Now this one here, this is the one we want to look at, okay, and I'm going to bring you over here in the shade, put you up on top of this log, so you can, let's see now, right here maybe. I need a filmer is what I need. Okay, right there. Yep, that'll work. So, the other thing I have when I split out here in the driveway, I've got this, okay? It's just an old piece of canvas that my dad had, okay? So I'm going to put that in the ground because it does a couple things. When you're splitting out your bolts, of course you're on gravel here, so you want to either have wood underneath that or something like this, so that when you're standing your log on it and pounding down into it, all those little rocks don't get in the end of your wood, because of course I use a bandsaw and it's going to dull my blades. So I always put something like this on the ground underneath it. Now, our first log is this one. Okay, so, it's a few things I want to show you. Okay, first off is this. Okay, see that? Very small, dark heart. That's really good. That means there's a lot of white wood out here where we want to make our handles of sapwood. I got a ton of white wood in this, which makes it a beautiful log. So the other things we got, to spin it around, okay, right here. Now, well, I don't know whether you can see that very well or not. Let's do this here at a little bit more of an angle. Let's put you out here. Okay, there, that's much better light here. Okay. There, okay. So, there's where we see there's a little gnarl here happening. And there's the same thing here, okay? A little something happened in there. So what I'm going to do, I'm take my maul, and where's my best, there it is, and my best wedge. So, all I'm going to do, if there's a natural crack, which there is right across here, I'm going to set my wedge in and make a mark. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to come across the top 4 inches, how wide I know my handle wood needs to be, and I'm going to tap that down and make another mark. So, right there. So this is what it looks like. Now I know I'm flopping you around, but you're going to be able to see a lot of stuff here. Okay, so now when we look down on this, you can see I've got a mark here where I put my wedge in. Okay, right there. Then I went around here 4 inches or so, how wide I know my handle needs to be, and I put another mark. And when I keep doing that, around the top of my block, another one here, another one here, another one here. And what I want to do here is I want to split this straight across. Okay, so I want, when my split starts going, I want from this split into where I know my other handle piece is going to be. Because if I don't, it's going to split where it wants to, and it's going to split one of your bolts, and you're going to lose a bolt. So you don't want to do that, okay? So I'm going to go around here. I'll show you what it looks like, okay? So you watch it from the bottom, but you'll see what I'm doing. I'm just going to keep putting those marks around there, and once I get 2 right across from each other, when I split that, I'm going to bring you back and show you what I've done, okay, and how I've saved the wood. So I've got one there, come another 4 inches. One there, another 4 inches. Okay. Now what I have on this side, I've got another knot. So I'm going to split around that knot. Okay, so the 2 pieces I put there, the 2 marks, are to get around that knot. And I'm going to put one here straight across. Okay, so I'm going to hit this one hard to try to get that wedge in there. I'll try to get one of my thinner wedges here, which is this one. It's quite thin. I'm going to set that in there, right that. So now I'm going to come back across, and at the first mark I made, I'm going to try to split down through this log. Okay, now it's giving away here. I can see that the log is starting to split. So, I want to come back to once you get a little split on that first side, come to your other side and start bringing it in to get another split so that the 2 splits meet in the middle. And that did it right there. So, I want to show you. I just want to show you what's happened. So on this one here, you can see, this one here, the split started across the log here. On this one here, up on the opposite side, it started splitting across too, and they've met in the middle. So now as I keep splitting that, I know that my log is going to split exactly where I want it to, so I'm not going to split in through one of my bolts. Okay? So let me split this off, and then I'm going to go back and split off my first. Okay, I need to split off one on the other side, but we're going to get that gnarl in the wood. Okay, that's what we're after now. So let's finish splitting this. There, and like ash, when it comes, it really comes, okay? It goes easy. So that's pretty much split the whole way down through. So now I'm going to come back around here. Okay, so that one's going to be, let's do this. Let's do one here. Let's do one here. Okay. So again, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you what these imperfections look like in the wood. Now, you can already see what's going on here. Okay, actually because I went right through it. So you see where we drew this line on here? You can see that I drew the circle here, right? Because we know this wood comes down and there's a little gnarl right here. Now look inside at the wood. Look at this. See the big gouge out of that there? See that? Okay, and on this side here, you look at it, see it sticking right out here? Okay, that's because that's our knot. Bark does not lie. And the same thing down here. Okay, so I'm going to split that out so you can see it a lot clearer. Okay, but that's exactly, you want to read your bark. So that's one. I'll split out this other one so we can see it really clearly. There, and that's like ash. It just splits right apart. It'll spring right apart for you. Okay, that's what we want right there. So this is the piece right here. Okay. So let's take a look at this. So here's on the outside where I drew the yellow. You can see right here. Now look on the inside. See that? That's that knot, and it starts right in here, almost at the center. Remember, we only had about a 3-inch core, and it starts right. So that was a branch, and it's grown. That branch has grown with the tree out here this far. It's fallen off right here at this year. So about 10 years ago, it fell off, and of course the wood now is growing over top of it. But you still see it here in the bark. This is a beautiful example. You won't get a better one than this. So you can see the little gnarl out here. Even though the wood is growing over top of the limb stops right here. Same thing up here, okay? Here's my yellow mark around it, right here. There's where the wood was curling. You look to the inside, same thing, okay? That knot comes the whole way this way. So what I will do now, I'll split this piece off so you can see what it looks like on the inside. Because we know there's a knot there. Bark does not lie. Okay. So, I'm coming in about 2 inches. There, like this. So I've come in about 2 inches, about the width of a handle. I've started splitting that down, and it's coming pretty straight so far. So I'll likely keep bringing it, because it actually looks like it's coming pretty straight. Okay, so it's still coming down here pretty straight. If I hit that one good wallop, that should spring off, which it does. So, it did travel, well, actually not bad. So it only traveled, didn't travel across anything. Right here, I guess right here. So we did. We lost a grain. We lost one grain right here. And then another one started right there. So it started splitting in a little bit. Now, there's a way to get around that, and I'll tell you about it here in a minute. But let's look here at our log. See that? There it is right there. There's your knot. And that's what it looks like on the outside of the tree. Okay, so you can barely recognize it. Like you can't see a real knot there, but you can see the round piece and the whorl. All right, so that's how we read wood. And what you want to do when you know those are in your log, again, even though the bark, the untrained eye will think, oh, that's a good log. You know, there's nothing there on it, no blemish. But because you can see that, you can see that the diamonds are interrupted and it's growing in a bit of a circle. You know underneath that's a knot, okay? So I don't have hardly any of those in those last 3 logs. So if there is little knots in there, they fought, of course it's down at the bottom of the tree. And they fell off early, and now it's putting on wood for years and years and years. Now the bark is beautiful, okay? So the wood should be beautiful the whole way along there. That's the kind of wood you want. You want it, really the first log, the first butt swell, you want to be up above that. Then you've got 2 or 3 beautiful pieces of wood for handlewood. Okay, it's all going to be nice and straight. And then when you get up into that, above that, you're going to have your limbs, of course. And when you get into limbs like this, then you got to be smart. You got to split around them. So, the other thing I will do when I'm splitting around known knots is I will try to get as many nice pieces as I can. So, right here, I've got 4 inches here, just off to the side of that knot. So there's one there. Now, the rest of this is pretty good as we come around, but then there's this knot here. Okay, see this knot right here? Very prominent. So what I've done, I've put that in one piece of wood. So this is where my 2 lines are going to come. So that's at the bottom of this bolt here. So I should be able to get a 28 or 30-inch handle out of this piece. And then the knot is at the bottom end of it, so I don't waste much wood. Okay, so you don't want to have that. If you put that on a right between 2 pieces, both pieces are going to have crooked wood in it. Okay, so that's a pretty good from a full tree, taking a bolt out of it and splitting it out, how to get good handlewood, actually quality handlewood, out of your log. Okay, the bark doesn't lie. The bark will tell you what you need to know. And then after that, you got to think about it when you're processing your log. Where am I going to put my lines? Okay, and you want to put them in here at the top and go around here first before you start splitting everything out. Put in where you can get the most number of handles, and sometimes you're going to have a thin one because it doesn't work out perfect, or I'd just make a little bit thicker one myself, and then sometimes you can get 2 handles out of that. And then don't start splitting the whole way through your log until you start 2 of those across from one another, so that your split comes the whole way through and goes right down where you know you're going to split your handles out of. If you don't do that, it's splitting through your handle wood. Okay? So, hopefully that's a pretty good video for this week. Next week's video, I'm going to process the butt, and we're going to see how that splits out and how the grain follows that sweep. Okay? So, East Coast Lumberjack signing off. Till next time. Remember, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, be sure you do.